Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I need my coffee this morning because I stayed up late at a friend's house and watched the Michigan Washington game. Turns out Michigan's the best team in the country. They earned it. They went through Alabama to get it. That's not an easy task. So that's an undisputed best team in the country this year. All right, we have the XRP, well, the Ripple logo. That's intentional, by the way. They flashed that up while they were talking about Bitcoin and the ETF and all that stuff, which is always good. Check out this. This is I don't know which woman this is, this one or this one. They both sound like they have Russian names. But listen to what she says about XRP.
Tons of use cases for cryptocurrencies, and some of my favorite use cases are Ripple. I think Ripple's done a great job at not only just standing its ground fighting with the SEC, but in Dubai, DIFC just approved Ripple XRP and Toncoin as as a mode of utility for payments for their 4,000 plus portfolio ecosystem companies. Some of my favorite use cases are Ripple. I think Ripple's done a great job.
I think that's on repeat right there. Thought that was an interesting little clip. Egreg Crypto's stirring up trouble. He's making a call. $5 in 90 days. Bear market bounce versus bull market bounce. In the upcoming 90 days, expect XRP to surge into the $5 range, marking the initial wave one of a prolonged bull market, one that's likely to span several months. Stay steady, just stay steady. Boy, that's a pretty bold call right there. I love it. Now, I don't know why, I don't know what's happened, but I've been in this since 2013, and all I've ever heard out of Bitcoin maxis and Ethereum maxis is that we don't want to talk about the fees because they couldn't. I mean, I remember when people were buying these NFT, these cartoon monkeys, that cost thousands of dollars and paying $150 in gas fees for Ethereum. Ridiculous. Bitcoin's no better, but this has always been true. XRP has always worked. It's been a Lightning network. It's been faster, less expensive, scalable, worked versus those two, which is why we always knew we were in some kind of thing where they're trying to carry this Bitcoin Ethereum narrative. We've proven it, we've shown it. But now, after all these years, the Bitcoin guys, they're really concerned about costs and fees. I don't know why they have this newfound passion for talking about costs of things, but now they do. Talking about the ETF.
24 basis points. That is your proposed fee. Walk us through how you arrived at that number.
And here's the important part of this. For years on this channel, we've been saying, years. Why? Of course, people are going to care about the costs to transfer these, to send these assets. Of course, they're going to care about the costs. Why is everybody ignoring the costs associated and the confirmations and the time it took to send Bitcoin versus XRP? Why is that elephant in the room being ignored? And now all of a sudden, they care about costs. That's all they want to talk about.
Well, first, thanks for having me on. Obviously, I can't speak about the ETF beyond what's in the filing, but if you zoom out, what Eric said is exactly right. We know that ETF investors care deeply about fees. The less they pay, the more they keep. At Bitwise, we've been structuring investment products in crypto for more than 7 years. So as we approach this sort of ETF era of crypto, it makes sense that the products are fine-tuned for that market. I think investors are going to be happy once we get to that ETF era. It's a win for investors. And the issuers, we can work with it. It's definitely a functional price point. So we're excited about it.
So what's your take on why Grayscale has cut its fees down to 1.5%, but is still leagues above what everyone else is doing?
It's an interesting situation. I probably shouldn't speak about a competitive product, but it will be interesting to see how this market develops over time and what investors do. There's certainly analogs in the history of the ETF market of having significant differences in expenses between competing ETFs. And I think the right ETF will find the right investor.
Okay. And then we have this one right here, where the Van Eck CEO is saying that he thinks that this is the ETFs are going to start trading on Thursday.
I believe it's going to start trading Thursday. That's okay. Kathy and Jan, there are a lot of reports out there that some applicants of the 13 have lined up substantial investors. You want to give us any ideas? Any investors lined up? Anybody want to say anything? Some people have been public about it.
The seed capital was disclosed in a lot of the S1s that were filed this morning. You know, I don't want to talk about our product too much, but we have very good seed capital coming into this.
Kathy?
Okay. And then we have this, and this is something that confuses me. Pantera Capital, unless they're partnered somehow with Bitwise, Pantera Capital has had tons of Bitcoin that they've owned before any ETFs. Why would they buy Bitcoin in an ETF and pay the fees? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The only thing I can think of is that they're partnered. Here it is right here. Somebody just pointed out, I didn't even see this. Pantera Capital's significant Bitcoin investment through Bitwise ETF. Well, I think they must be somehow in business with, otherwise it wouldn't make sense to do that. Now, I don't know who this guy right here, it says J somebody, CEO. But anyway, he's talking to Naveen Gupta from Ripple. Listen to what he says.
And so I think that kind of the ability to roll up and be a multi-chain or chain agnostic is huge. And, you know, the XRP ledger, you know, you guys are going to be continually upgrading, scaling, and changing there. But you know, the ability to be, you know, cross-compatible with other assets and tokens, I think is where we're going, is this multi-chain future. Because when you go to a website, you know, it's generally pulling from multiple servers, you know, multiple databases to resolve a single image or a single page. And I think that's going to be a lot of what we're going to see here in the near future, is that, you know, there is no one chain to rule them all. Like Swift, you know, you were kind of like, yep, either you're a bank and you use Swift, or you're just not in, you're not included in the financial system. So I think you're entirely right. We're going to see a lot of, you know, evolutions. We've already proven, you know, a tokenized JPEG, you know, that of the concept of digital scarcity can be worth tens of millions of dollars and hold the value and be able to trade as a financial instrument. Whether that's legal or even anyone cares, it's a great alpha test to showcase. Now we're ready to start beta testing, you know, what we're talking about today, which is real world assets, real title, and start moving from, you know, millions and billions to hundreds of trillions of dollars into blockchain technologies.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
There you go. And then we've got, this must mean that Bitcoin is about to go up like crazy, because Jim Cramer said this.
Comparison to another stock. We got Riot Platforms and Marathon Digital.
What are we doing with these? You know, let's stop fooling around. If you want Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's topping out, by the way. So I'm going to say enough is enough, and ka-ching is ka-ching. And that, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so he said it's topped out. Now, interesting tweet from Fred Rispoli. SEC versus Ripple's been quiet, too quiet. Completion of damages related discovery is February 12th. I'm surprised we haven't seen any SEC motions filed, given how hostile this litigation has been. I would expect to see one filed at least a week or so before the deadline. Otherwise, that means Ripple and SEC are playing gas nice. At this point, my thought process is one of two outcomes. SEC gets the discovery it wants, reviews it, and the parties finally settle. If not, this will be dragged out through damages briefing, which concludes April 29th, with a ruling likely in early summer. SEC will lose most of what it wants under this route, so it should really take an easy win given its mounting losses in court. Hold on a second. All right, I got interrupted. Here's what we're dealing with here. We've got a dryer that is working but not heating. And so I've got an appliance guy on the way. So anyway, I think I was somewhere in here. He says they'll lose on most of that, which may include whopping loss against Coinbase by then, who knows. Then Jeremy Hogan comes in and says, yeah, it's been awfully quiet, hasn't it, Fred? Making me nervous. And Fred says, I'm just hoping the SEC realizes the L they have with Ripple and is moving on to other endeavors, shakedowns, because the negative to the quiet is the SEC is going to move through the fast and then take the fight to the Second Circuit. And shout out to Bob Smith, but I meant to tag Ripple. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, okay, so here's what we're going to talk. Yesterday, a new person showed up from some of those documents about the island guy. I'm going to show you who that is. I'm going to show you, I've been saying this, I'm going to show you that Bitcoin and Ethereum, I believe, were created partially and used partially, and it has everything to do with that island guy. And I'm going to show you in DAIXRP.com what I'm talking about, and I'll show you some of the contacts and the connections that we know as well. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit like button, tell your friends and family. DAIXRP.com. We're going to talk about what's really going on. Okay.